Hi, Country Changers. Welcome to our feature month where we are featuring Hay Shire. I am joined by James Moran, who is here to share his country change story to the region. Hi, James.
G'day, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Awesome. Well, we obviously caught up offline before this interview, and I really like your story because I think it's a really great example of how people can make a country change, not just for personal benefits, but for career progression. So tell me a little bit about your story, because you've moved to Hay back in 2023 for a promotion. Just tell our viewers a little bit about that.
Yeah, cool. So I finished uni in Sydney, and was going traveling the April the next year. So I kind of thought, I want to do something a little bit different. So I went out to Broken Hill, just something very far away to do. And I did my time there. It was really, really fun. But I was in a fantastic school and I loved the school there. However, the principal is still a good mate of mine. He'd been there for donkey's years and he wasn't going anywhere anytime soon, nor should he. Um, so Hay was kind of an area through doing some footy coaching here through the schools thing that I kind of had my eye on for a few years. So through being in Broken Hill, I rose from like a classroom teacher to like a numeracy role, then a kind of curriculum leader, I guess you'd call it. And then yeah, the principal job came up in Hay, probably at the right time for me. Um, and it was just a position, I was pretty young. I was only 30, I think, when I got the job, or 29, turning 30 when I got the job, which is pretty young for a principal. Um, and just the opportunity was there to get a little bit closer to family and home, and in a really beautiful town that as I said, I'd kind of had my eye on for a little bit. Um, and yes, the opportunity arose, and I applied and was successful.
I loved when you said earlier, you didn't think you were going to get it, but here you are 2 years later, and you're at the end of your second term year as principal. So I guess it's probably testimony to the fact that there are so many opportunities in regional areas if you're, really wanting a tree change.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I've got plenty of friends in Sydney, and they're fighting for jobs and fighting to pay rent in Sydney and things like that. And when I go to even the diocesan conferences, and then the state conferences, I went to one last year, and I kind of did laugh and chuckle to myself. It's a probably arrogant way to put it. I'm not trying to be arrogant, but looking like all these principals are significantly older than me, kind of thing. They've got more experience as a principal as I do, having a teaching degree. But yeah, I was, lucky to get the job. The school in the town's been a really good fit for me, and I think the school especially was after, a kind of younger principal, and I think the town really appreciates someone who's community minded as well and gets involved in the community. And sport is the heartbeat of the community and right up my alley. So it just fit both parties.
Yeah, we hear it a lot where people who might be in the city make a career change or do a short stint in the country with the intention of going back, and they often never go back because they just fall in love with the town that they were sort of posted to. What has the move to Hay been like for you and your family? Because I believe you've got a young one.
Yeah, so Lockie's 5 months now. So he came along this year. No, look, it's been awesome. Kate and I had, my wife Kate being from down in the Bellarine Peninsula in Victoria. I didn't think I'd want to end up back in Sydney, but since moving out west first and then certainly here to the Riverina, I have no intention of returning. I like going back and seeing, catching up with people, but yeah, I certainly can't see myself leaving. It's just a really nice town. Like from the day we turned up, like the first thing that kind of threw us back was just how friendly and welcoming everyone was. I felt really bad that everyone was going, "Hello, James, nice to meet you, congratulations," and I'm pretty bad with remembering names, so I've got to, "G'day, mate, hi." So just how super friendly everyone was. I was playing footy, or am still playing footy. Kate was playing netball, so just to be able to get involved in sport in the community, and I think the town, when they could see that we were happy to invest in the town, looking for property that that we've now bought in the town, the fact that they can see us here long term as well is really important.
Mm.
The question I got when I first got here was, "Oh, how long are you staying for?" Because they're used to people just popping in, getting a job and leaving. But yeah, no, with just how friendly, how beautiful the town is, and just the area in general,
Mm.
we're happy to stick it out long term.
Yeah, I was in Hay recently shooting some videos for Country Change, and Regional Development Australia, Riverina, and I hadn't been there for oh gosh, probably 8 years, and I was blown away with how much it had changed and just some of the beautiful businesses there and the opportunities people have, not just with career but just also exploring the region. It's a beautiful, based on the river, and there's so many activities, but also, as you said, also offline, you're in a position where you can pop to Melbourne for the weekend, or you can pop to Sydney, and that was beneficial for you guys because of family placement, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So me growing up in Sydney, mum's moved back up the Northern Rivers, which is still quite far away, but that's just the way it is. But yeah, I still got a lot of my mates, my uncle, my sister in Sydney kind of thing. So it's, easy to get back. Even Griffith's only an hour and a half and you can hop on a flight, which is handy. My old man's in Melbourne, and Kate being down from the Bellarine, prior to that, if Kate's family wanted to come and see us, it was a massive 13 whole day in the car trip, but now they can just leave whenever. They're here in 5, 6 hours. Plenty of times that Kate and I last year wanted to go watch the footy in Melbourne, so we just hopped in the car on the Friday arvo, and you're there by 9:30, 10 o'clock kind of thing, and you're home on Sunday and not being wrecked from so much time in the car. So it's just, yeah, in terms of the location, it's been really convenient in getting to Sydney, Melbourne, even Mildura up the other way. Like, I had one of our best mates living there for a long time. So location wise, there's a lot of good places in really close proximity, which has been great fun for us.
And as a professional, a teaching professional, and now a parent, what have been your major observations around the differences of city schools versus your school, which, sorry, is it St. Mary's? I know.
Yeah, St. Mary's, no.
Yeah.
I think it's the community, but and the parents, like, they're all just honestly super, super lovely. Like, of an afternoon, we have a duty roster that says who's on after school duty for dismissal. But every single teacher goes out there and we kind of just hang out at the gate, have a chat with the parents, and then the teacher leave, and we'll often just sit there and chat away with the staff. So in terms of the staff grouping, maybe it's because we've got more time and we're not thinking about fighting peak hour traffic on the way home. People are happy to just hang out, have a chat after work, do what you need to do. Then, I work, I'll often work a little bit later, but then you're still home in the daylight and you can still go home and hang out with the family, go down the bridge for a swim if you want, go to footy training, go to play cricket. Like, you've just got time to do things. So I think in terms of the parents, they're just super friendly and super welcoming. I joke that when we go to Sydney and we take the dog a few times, and even the dogs just aren't as friendly in Sydney. They just don't want to play with them, not just the dogs do out here. So we've certainly found that through the people, and then yes, just the staff, and maybe it's just that laid back more lifestyle. People are just happy to hang out, have a yarn, and catch up.
Yeah, no, I love that. Even the dogs are friendly. We should make that our new slogan.
Yeah.
So I think one of the misconceptions, or one of the questions that I've heard a lot around schooling when people are interested in making inquiries about education is, what are the resources and what's the curriculum level? Because people obviously want the best for their child. As a parent, as a teacher, what would you say to people around that question?
It's exactly the same. Often in country areas, and especially the case in my school, we actually have considerably smaller class sizes than what they would in the city. So, anywhere from 10 kids to 20 kids kind of thing, where in your city schools, you jam packing 30 kids into a classroom. So the actual attention that the students get from the teachers is so much higher, and they get a lot more one-on-one support kind of thing. In terms of resources, we're funded exactly the same as other schools. We're actually, being out here, we actually get more funding than a lot of the city schools, just due to our location and things like that. So in terms of resources, computers, Chromebooks, anything, I guess the only thing we don't have access to is as many outside providers. Like, there are some music guys down in Denny and Griffith, and great sport providers locally. But in terms of that, we get the teachers the resource and we upskill them. And I guess post-COVID, around COVID, Zoom has really helped that. So now we can just use Zoom to access all those providers of the people staying in the city. I've got incredible teachers and staff here that I would back into teaching a very high quality Sydney class any day of the week. So it's one of those things, I guess, you don't know how good it is until you try it. But there are certainly a lot of advantages to being out here in the country in terms of what you can access, the care, and even just even just the teachers knowing the family and knowing the student. It's very rare if you're in Sydney, if a student sees you out, they're kind of a bit gobsmacked by it kind of thing. But here it's just everyday life. So you know the student, you know the family. You might have heard through the grapevine, which sometimes isn't the greatest thing, that something might have happened in a family. So when the teacher gets to school, they know straight away to keep an eye out for that child and, give them a bit of extra TLC just because you're aware and you
Yeah.
can be aware.
It's a real village approach to raising children. It's not isolated. You're in school from 9 to 3 or whatever it might be, and then you leave and you forget about them because, even from a business perspective, everybody cares what happens in their community. So they really are supportive. Would you say that's, I guess that's what you were saying there. That's the noticeable difference for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I might be down at Oxford on a Thursday night and you see your kids from school and that's normal and that's okay. So then you get that extra chance to catch up with your parents. So instead of just being a very quick acquaintance at the gate talking about education, you talk about, I know you're working for the new mechanic now. How's that going kind of thing. You actually know families and things like that. And even something as small as we had a wire broken on the trailer, our school trailer the other day, and I just asked a parent and he said, yeah, no worries, I'll fix that for you straight away. Like
Yeah.
just in terms of that helping that community feel like everyone's happy to jump in, do what they need to do. And yeah, really involved in the school. Like the community's really proud of the school. When I first came here, the school was probably smaller than it should be. It had a few years that just through a few staffing because it wasn't the greatest at the time. But since I got here and we've been rebuilding really, really fast, everyone in the community is just every time they see me say, "Oh, so good. We're so proud of the school. We went there, and it's a real community feel around the school and wanting it to succeed. And now that it is succeeding, they're really proud as well."
Yeah, actually, I meant to do this earlier, actually, bring up a map of where Hay Shire is. So, I think most people have heard of the Hay Plains. It's a magnificent drive, particularly at sunset, at the sunset point. You get these incredible views over flatness, and I always remember this drive I did from Denny through Hay, and I was the only car on the road, and there were kangaroos bouncing in front of me, emus running either side of me, and two eagles flying above me. And that is a standout memory for me in the Hay Plains, because there is nothing I've seen, and I've traveled across lots of Australia, but it's so unique, and it's on your doorstep. And do you ever get sick of seeing?
Not really. You'd think so. I remember the first time I drove the Hay Plains, I was like, wow, this is incredible. Like I came across from Mildura I came from the west. And yeah, I just people told me how flat it was, but I just couldn't believe you just literally look around and it's just flatness going on forever. And now there's been a lot of stock on the road, like cattle and things like that. So I don't think I ever quite get over driving. Look, if you're driving at dusk, you are a bit more, wary of wildlife, things like that.
Yeah.
But it's so nice during the day. I still love seeing packs of emus and, when you see those massive, lots of hawks, when you see those massive eagles, they're so incredible to see on the road. And no, I don't think you'll ever actually get over it. I think you kind of take it for granted just seeing roos all the time because growing up in Sydney, it was very rare you'd see it. And I've got a bit of family overseas and they say, oh, did you see kangaroos often? It's like, yeah, all the time. Why? It's just, I guess you try not to take it for granted, but it all just does amaze you all the time. And the beautiful sunsets, around your autumn time, the sunsets that come through here are something I've never seen before.
Might just try and pull up some images actually just off Google and show people what we're talking about, because it is.
And we've got that lookout just north of town.
Yeah.
Which is and they're almost those colors that photos don't do them justice as well.
I agree.
Those big deep skies, it's just incredible to see.
Yeah, I don't feel like these photos are doing it justice at all, to be honest.
No, not at all.
But it's incredible. And you can head to the website and countrychange.com.au, head to our places and look up the Hay Shire page. But on that page, this was the video I was talking about. We were out filming Ashley, who is the one and only police officer. She may have gotten a buddy by now, but she moved to Hay, and it's been the best career progression for her as well, because she's put in situations that seniors would normally be responding to, but she's still got that support to be able to nurture her skills and develop. So that's a great story to watch, and there's some beautiful vision of the Hay Plains in there as well. But um, you can find out information about the population, housing, median and prices, and that distance there that I was showing with the map in terms of driving distances to Canberra and Melbourne. But obviously you've got Griffith, which is really close. Then you've got Wagga as well. And both of those have airports that can get you to the major cities and some of the regional centres as well. But just in sort of wrapping up, is there anything that you would like to add, either with your teacher hat or your parent hat on?
I think what also amazes me about Hay is I'm unashamedly sport based with everything. Hay really punches above its weight because it's got AFL, Union, League, soccer started back up again. Like it's got so many sports, but even just like it's really cool, the shops. Like when I first came here, we said, coming from a place that had a Coles and Woolies, we were like, right, every 2 weeks we're gonna have to shoot off down to Denny or Griffith or somewhere just to do our big shop and things like that. But we actually haven't. Like the supermarkets here are really, really good. The butcher's incredible. There's electrical stores. There's like everything you actually need straight away, you can access in town. That's something that really threw us back. There's obviously that awesome yoga studio that Kate has really gotten involved in. Yeah, that was one thing that not concerned us coming here, but we'd made a plan for getting out of Hay to do all that big shopping and things like that. But it hasn't really made a difference at all, to be honest. Like the shops here are incredible, and that's something that I think people assume isn't that great in country areas, and the access to anything. But that's great. Yeah, just the ability to work-life balance. Like at the moment, I walk to school and about to move into our new house, and it's going to take me all of like a 1 minute drive, 2 minute drive. Just being able to have a life as well as work and teach, and for families as well. Every afternoon I talk to the kids now, they're heading to the pool or heading to one of the incredible parks here. You've just got more time in the day, which is so good. And you've probably got more money as well because the cost of living is significantly lower in education, whether you teach in Sydney or Hay. It's actually the pay rate's the same, and teachers out here actually get more because of government incentives to get people to move rural. So you're actually better off working in the country than you are in the city. And it's just such a better lifestyle.
Yeah. And look, we've, as part of that Country Change series, we did interview a number of people who moved for jobs to the region. So I really encourage people to also go to our Country Change YouTube channel and listen and watch those stories, because these are testimonies from people who've done it. That's not, it's not us just saying it. It is these people who live and breathe it every day. And it's all of them say it's the best decision they've ever made, and won't be going anywhere else. So thank you. Just finally, any word of advice that you would have for someone considering a country change that might help them leap in?
You won't regret it. Like just rip the Band-Aid and do it. Like, and worst case, you get out there and you totally hate it. What's 6 months of your life for trying something that could be incredible? Like when I left Sydney to go to Broken Hill, I didn't have a job. I thought, oh, see when I turn up again. And it's just, I'll never go back from not many months in, and now being down here in the Riverina. It's one of the things, it's very daunting and very scary to do first. But once you get out and you settle in, not even 10 years down the track, I've got a job as a principal, I'm married, and I have a 5-month-old child. So from leaving Sydney and being, straight out of uni, thinking, oh, what am I doing here? It didn't take me long to really fall in love with it and set myself up.
Are your Sydney mates jealous?
They
don't believe you.
Bits and pieces. A few of them are very intrigued about, the opportunities for camping and things like that. I was actually chatting to a bloke on the weekend about camping and, how he has to travel from the eastern suburbs to wherever he has to go. Couple of hours, where here there's a couple of really good camp spots 10 minutes up the road kind of thing. So, yeah, I think they are in a way, but they don't want to admit it.
Yeah, we hear that one a lot too. And it'll just take one mate or one family member to move, and then all of a sudden they're all with you. So awesome. Thank you so much for your time. It's really been awesome talking to you, and thanks for sharing your country change journey with us.
No worries. Thanks so much. Happy to be here.